You come home after a long shift, tired, hungry, and in no mood to cook from scratch. You open the freezer, and there it is, frozen burgers, waiting like a quick solution. For decades, frozen burgers have been the rescue meal for busy parents, students, and anyone too exhausted to fire up the grill from scratch. Toss them in a pan or microwave, add a bun, and dinner is done in minutes. But here's the twist. Frozen burgers aren't what they used to be. Many brands that once stood for hearty beef flavor have quietly cut corners. They stretch patties with cheap fillers, pump them full of salt, and rely on preservatives to mask what's missing. Some have even faced recalls that make you wonder if the bargain was ever worth it. So today we're breaking down the frozen burger brands you should avoid at all costs, and the few that are actually worth keeping in your freezer. Avoid number 1, Great Value, Walmart. Great Value is Walmart's in-house private label, and on paper it looks like a win. You walk into the world's biggest retailer, grab a box of frozen burgers at a rock-bottom price, and feel like you've scored a deal. Families across America have relied on Great Value products for decades because the brand was designed to stretch tight budgets. For backyard barbecues or quick weeknight dinners, a big pack of Great Value burgers once seemed like the smart buy. But the story has shifted. Over the years, the recipe has leaned harder on fillers, soy protein, breadcrumbs, and excess fat to keep prices low. The result is a patty that looks like beef but doesn't taste like it. Bite into one, and instead of juicy flavor, you get a salty, spongy texture that leaves you reaching for more ketchup just to cover it up. Nutrition labels tell the same story. Sky-high sodium and long lists of additives that have nothing to do with real meat. It gets worse. Several years back, small batches of Great Value frozen beef were recalled after storage and temperature issues raised safety concerns. While the recall didn't dominate headlines, it was enough to make cautious shoppers rethink their trust in Walmart's budget burgers. At the end of the day, saving a few dollars isn't worth sacrificing taste or risking questionable quality. These burgers may fill a stomach, but they rarely satisfy. So, have you ever picked up Great Value burgers just to save a few bucks, only to regret it after the first bite? Avoid number 2, Banquet. Conagora. Banquet is one of the oldest names in the frozen food aisle. Born in the 1950s, it became a household staple when American families first embraced TV dinners. Back then, Banquet represented convenience and comfort, giving working parents a way to put a hot meal on the table without spending hours in the kitchen. For decades, the brand built its reputation on affordability and familiarity. But nostalgia doesn't always hold up against reality. Over time, Banquet's frozen burgers have strayed far from their comforting roots. The patties are often thin, loaded with fillers, and dominated by sodium and artificial flavors. Instead of tasting like fresh beef, many consumers describe them as salty and flat, more like a processed meat puck than a satisfying burger. A look at the ingredient list reveals why. Long chemical names, preservatives, and cheap extenders that bulk up the patty while cutting corners on quality. Worse, critics point out how Banquet leans heavily on branding rather than substance. The cheerful red box may still tug at memories of childhood dinners, but the contents don't deliver the same home-style taste that earlier generations enjoyed. In fact, nutrition watchdog groups have repeatedly flagged Banquet frozen meals for excessive sodium, with some patties pushing well past recommended daily limits. It's a harsh reminder that what worked in the 1960s doesn't necessarily belong in today's freezer. Banquet's frozen burgers may still be cheap, but the compromise in flavor and nutrition makes them far less appealing than their marketing suggests. Do you think Banquet still delivers the comfort food it promised decades ago, or has it become just another frozen filler in your freezer aisle? Avoid number 3, Fast Bites, Dollar Tree. Walk into a Dollar Tree and you'll see Fast Bites burgers stacked in the freezer, each one priced at just $1.25. For students living on instant noodles, night shift workers grabbing a quick bite, or families trying to stretch every dollar, that price tag feels like a lifesaver. On the surface, Fast Bites seems to represent the ultimate in budget convenience. Pop it in the microwave and you got a burger in under 2 minutes. But cheap doesn't always mean cheerful. Fast Bites patties are often made with mechanically separated meat and soy-based fillers designed to mimic beef. That means less of the real stuff and more of the processed substitutes. The result is a burger that looks okay on the bun, but tastes artificial, with a greasy aftertaste that clings long after you're done eating. Consumer reviews repeatedly describe the texture as spongy or rubbery, with flavor that relies more on salt than on actual beef. Nutrition labels don't help their case. Each small burger often packs an oversized sodium punch, sometimes rivaling what you'd get in a full restaurant meal. Add in preservatives and stabilizers, and you're left with a patty built more for shelf life than for flavor. Even the bun, pre-packaged and microwaved with the patty, turns tough and chewy, leaving the whole experience a disappointment. Yes, Fast Bites might save $1 or $2 in the short term, but when the eating experience feels heavy, artificial, and unsatisfying, it makes you wonder if the savings were ever worth it. So here's the question. Would you really trade real flavor for the lowest price? Or is that just too high a cost for a so-called bargain? Avoid number 4, Omaha Steaks, frozen burgers. Omaha Steaks has built its reputation on being a premium mail-order meat company. For over a century, families have ordered their gift boxes of steaks and gourmet items, often delivered in dry ice coolers during the holidays. With that kind of history, you'd expect their frozen burgers to be something special, a thick, juicy upgrade from the typical supermarket patty. But reality doesn't always match the marketing. Despite the premium price tag, Omaha Steaks frozen burgers have faced plenty of criticism. Many customers complain that the patties cook up dry, with a dense texture that doesn't resemble fresh ground beef. The flavor often falls flat, requiring heavy seasoning or toppings just to make them enjoyable. For something that costs more than double the price of many store brands, that's a serious letdown. The ingredient lists are another red flag. While Omaha advertises 100% beef, these patties are often pre-formed with higher fat ratios to boost shelf stability. That means more grease in the pan, less authentic beef flavor on the plate. Some batches have even been criticized for inconsistent quality. One shipment tastes fine, while the next feels bland and overprocessed. What stings most is the value. Shoppers pay a premium expecting steakhouse-level burgers, but too often end up with patties that perform no better than a grocery store freezer find. When price and quality don't align, the brand's prestige takes a hit. So here's the question. Would you pay luxury prices for a frozen burger that tastes more like a corner store patty than a steakhouse classic? Avoid number 5, Ballpark frozen burgers. Ballpark is a brand most Americans recognize instantly. Since 1957, their hot dogs have been a staple at ball games, cookouts, and family dinners. Riding on that reputation, the company expanded into frozen burgers, hoping the trust built around hot dogs would carry over to beef patties. At first glance, it seems like a safe bet. Who wouldn't trust a stadium icon to deliver a decent burger? But here's where things go wrong. Ballpark's frozen burgers often fall short of expectations. Instead of juicy patties, you get overly salty rounds that rely heavily on preservatives. Many customers describe the flavor as artificial, with an aftertaste that lingers longer than it should. Reviews also note that the burgers shrink significantly when cooked, leaving behind more grease than beef. The brand has also faced safety issues. Over the years, Ballpark products have been linked to recalls due to contamination concerns, including bacterial risks that raised red flags for health-conscious shoppers. While not every batch was affected, the news was enough to shake confidence in a brand many once trusted. Nutritionally, these patties don't inspire confidence either. With high sodium, nitrates, and stabilizers, they look more like a lab creation than a backyard burger. For a brand that built its name on Americana and tradition, the frozen burger line feels like a disappointment. Sometimes a famous name isn't enough. When what's inside the box doesn't live up to the legacy, you're left paying for nostalgia, not quality. So would you still trust a hot dog legend to handle your burger cravings after seeing how far their frozen patties miss the mark? Not every frozen burger tells a sad story. While some brands cut corners with fillers and preservatives, a few still focus on real beef and honest flavor. These are the burgers that prove convenience doesn't have to mean compromise. If you're willing to spend just a little more, there are frozen options that taste close to homemade and are worth keeping in your freezer. Worth trying number 1, Kirkland's Signature. Angus Burgers at Costco. Costco's Kirkland Signature brand has earned a reputation for offering quality that rivals, or sometimes beats, national labels. Their Angus frozen burgers are no exception. Sold in bulk packs, they're designed for families who want both value and flavor without sacrificing convenience. For anyone stocking up a freezer, these patties stand out as one of the best bargains in the frozen burger aisle. The secret lies in their simplicity. Kirkland's Angus burgers are made from 100% beef with no fillers, binders, or artificial flavors. Each patty is thick and hearty, cooking up juicy whether you throw it on the grill, a stovetop pan, or even in the oven. Unlike cheaper brands that shrink to half their size after cooking, these burgers hold their shape and deliver a meaty bite that feels close to fresh ground beef. Value is another selling point. Costco shoppers pay less per pound compared to many name brands, but the quality is consistently higher. For large households or anyone planning backyard cookouts, the bulk packaging means you're never short on burgers when the craving hits. Kirkland may not have the flashy marketing of some competitors, but loyal Costco members know the truth. These burgers deliver on both taste and savings. Would you be willing to pay a little extra up front for a bulk pack that guarantees real beef flavor every time you cook? Worth trying number 2, Bubba Burger. Since the 1990s, Bubba Burger has carved out a loyal following in the frozen food aisle. Unlike bargain brands that hide behind flashy packaging, Bubba built its name on one simple promise: frozen burgers that taste like the real deal. For busy families and weekend grillers, these patties have become a go-to choice when fresh ground beef isn't an option. The difference is in the ingredients, or rather the lack of extras. Bubba Burgers are made from 100% beef with no fillers, binders, or byproducts. That means every bite delivers genuine beef flavor without the spongy texture or salty aftertaste found in cheaper brands. The patties are thick and meaty, and when they hit the grill, they sizzle and sear just like homemade burgers. Another strength is consistency. Whether you buy them at Walmart, Kroger, or a regional grocery store, Bubba Burgers tend to cook evenly and hold their shape. They don't shrink into greasy discs, and they pair well with simple toppings or a fully loaded bun. While the price is higher than discount labels, many shoppers argue the upgrade is worth every penny. In a market where shortcuts are common, Bubba proves that frozen doesn't have to mean fake. It's convenience without compromise. And that's why the brand has survived while others faded. Have you ever grilled a Bubba burger and thought it tasted almost like something you'd get at a backyard cookout? Worth trying number 3, Trader Joe's grass-fed burgers. Trader Joe's has long been the store for shoppers who want something a little different. Known for affordable specialty products, it attracts younger consumers, health-conscious families, and anyone who enjoys trying unique items without breaking the bank. Among their frozen section standouts are the grass-fed beef burgers, a product that proves not all frozen patties are created equal. What sets these burgers apart is the sourcing. Made from 100% grass-fed beef, the patties have a cleaner flavor and leaner profile compared to standard grain-fed options. Grass-fed beef often carries a richer, slightly earthy taste that appeals to consumers looking for something closer to real beef rather than processed meat. Trader Joe's keeps the ingredient list short, avoiding unnecessary fillers or preservatives that so many other frozen brands rely on. When cooked, these burgers retain their juiciness while offering a texture that feels closer to freshly ground beef than most freezer finds. They're versatile enough for a simple cheeseburger night or dressed up with gourmet toppings. Nutritionally, they tend to be lower in fat and sodium, making them a smarter choice for those who want balance between convenience and health. Price-wise, Trader Joe's grass-fed patties aren't the cheapest, but they fall in a middle range that feels fair for the quality offered. For smaller households or individuals, the smaller pack sizes are also a plus. No need to buy in bulk if you don't want to. Would you be willing to spend a little extra for a burger that skips the fillers and actually tastes like real beef? Frozen burgers will always have a place in American freezers. They save time, fill a plate fast, and give us comfort on nights when cooking from scratch feels impossible. But as we've seen, not every brand deserves a spot in your cart. From great value to ballpark, too many companies have cut corners with fillers, salt, and preservatives, leaving behind patties that feel more like compromises than meals. On the flip side, a few brands still prove that convenience and quality can live in the same box. Kirkland, Bubba, and Trader Joe's show that frozen doesn't have to mean fake. With better sourcing, fewer additives, and real beef flavor, they remind us that even when time is short, taste shouldn't be sacrificed. So here's the takeaway. Choose wisely. Spend your dollars on the burgers that deliver real satisfaction, not disappointment. Because in the end, good food should do more than just fill you up. It should make you glad you took that first bite. And if you found this breakdown helpful, drop a comment with your favorite frozen burger brand, hit like, and subscribe for more honest food reviews. Because even from a can, food should still taste real.